Well, good evening, everyone. Hey, this is Lee along with my partner, Dan. And yes, it is time once again for some volleyball. And I tell you what, Dan, this is the last home game. And, man, I tell you what, I have a funny feeling that our Lady Red Devils might just follow up what they did just the other night. And that's possibly take 3 straight here. They are looking really good. They're excited. They're feeling good. The only thing that we still have going on, of course, Lexi Lucatero, she's out with that torn, from the bone there. There's the torn cartilage from the bone. Excuse me.
Oh, boy.
So she'll be taken off early in the morning. I talked to her just a little bit ago. I said, well, how you doing? She goes, well, I'm okay. We'll be leaving early in the morning, heading on up to Slocum to go ahead and talk with them and try to figure out what's what. And then was also talking to Peyton Drake. She wasn't able to make practice yesterday because she wasn't feeling good. But she says, I don't know, Lee. I just kind of had a little bit of the crud and just took a day off to kind of rest up a bit because had to be ready for tonight. And then, of course, the big Marshfield Invitational tournament that's going to be Saturday. So
yeah, we're going to be pretty busy on Saturday. We're going to have at least 3 games to cover for the Red Devils. And looking forward to it. They've got competition coming down from Junction City and Eugene, and going to be a big day for the Coquille Red Devils, and we're cheering them on and praying for Lexi as well. We're hoping that her injury is minimal and she heals quick.
Absolutely. You mentioned a couple of those teams that Coquille will be facing. They do have, and this is going to be in the West Gym, by the way, which is kind of across and kitty corner, whatnot, from the main gym there at the high school. But anyway, our first one is going to be against North Eugene, and that's going to start at 8:30. So we'll be on the air right about 8:15, and then we get pretty long break as we won't get back on the court till right about 11:30. Normally, too, these games start a little earlier than what they're scheduled, just FYI. But the Dowls will be playing against us at 11:30, and then following right after at 12:30, Junction City. So, there's 4, 8, counting us, there's 12 different schools in this here tournament, and I'm sure, once again, it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, the Coquille Red Devils are going to have their hands full for sure, and it's going to be a big day for all the schools involved. We're hoping you'll tune in and join us for some statewide, as it were, volleyball.
Well, and, that's really, tonight, as we mentioned, is the last home game that the girls will be playing. And, of course, as you mentioned, we have the tournament. And then next week we have our 2 away games. And then hopefully on the state. So next Tuesday we will be going to Sutherland. And then on Thursday we'll be going to South Umpqua. And then, of course, Friday night football after that.
Friday night under the lights, that's right.
And we'll be going to Douglas High School tomorrow, which is on 42 there, just as you're heading into Winston. So all kinds of good stuff going on.
Yeah, stay tuned to Red Devil Radio. Going to be a lot of good sports on this weekend.
Absolutely. So we're going to be rocking and rolling right on through, and we appreciate y'all tuning in with us. And, of course, for our pre- and post-game sponsor, the City of Coquille, we greatly thank you so much. I last night went over to Fo's. Teresa and I went to Fo's for dinner last night, which was amazing once again. And it was the coolest thing. They've got red, white, and the white for the stars, so it's like a flag that's lit up on not all, but quite a few of the light poles.
Oh, wow.
And it's just gorgeous. In fact, I was saying, God, that'd be so neat if they just left those up the whole time, because it's just neat looking, patriotic, and
sure,
just really a neat thing to see.
So you could eat at Fo's and then go to the shows next door at the Sawdust Theater.
There's that, too, because not this Saturday, but the following, on the 26th, there's going to be a tribute band there for Johnny Cash. And it's basically titled A Boy Named Sue.
Boy, that'll be fun.
Yes, I'm actually going to be hoping to see that myself. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
You bet.
But as we're looking at the court tonight, folks, once again, we thank you so much as we do broadcast from the Coastal Coffee broadcast booth. And of course, we'll have some different highlights brought to you by Les Schwab Tire. And then we'll also have the athlete of the game brought to you by Amley Schroeder Funeral Service. So once again, we thank those particular sponsors, as well as the many others. But do you got anything going on for stats here, Dan? I mean,
I got a few stats on these two teams on the courts here. I can juice up the old stop with camel of a cell phone I have. Coquille, in league right now, the ladies are 7-0, undefeated in their league play. Overall, they're 13-2. They've won 39 sets, but they've lost 10, and they have an OSAA ranking of number 9, which is a great place to be this time of year, the Coquille Red Devils. We'll go down the screen a little bit here to the Glide Wildcats. In league, they are 1-6. Overall, they are 4-13. They've won 14 sets, but they've lost 37, and they have an OSAA ranking in the number 38 spot. And that's where the teams are right before the game begins tonight.
And I tell you that the way that it looks anyway, which we know doesn't always tell the story, but it looks that Coquille will be able to go away with the wins here tonight. So we are hoping for that, of course, and then that way they can continue on their good adventure as they get ready to go to a couple of away games to finish things up to be ready for state.
You know, they sure deserve it when you think about the time, the hours that this team has invested into their sport and working together, becoming a team, learning to rely on each other, work together. Holy smokes, they've sure put in a lot of time and a lot of effort, and I'm cheering them on all the way to state. I really am, well, for lack of a better description, I'm really proud of our team here and gosh, and the work that they've done.
Well, absolutely. And, you know, the last time, which was about midway through, when we played Sutherland as well as South Umpqua, we came out in very, very good standings.
Yep.
And so, of course, we are hoping for that again. And, you know, one thing about the Lady Red Devils, it doesn't seem to make a lot of difference if we're home or away. I mean, it makes a difference, but,
sure,
you know, there's sometimes it makes a huge difference. And I think these ladies are just, you know, so solid and so equipped, if you will, with their talents, athleticism. I mean, everything. Their attitude is just amazing.
Yeah, they're very flexible. They can adjust to whatever court they get put on, and yeah, they have proven it away from home for sure.
So it's just a great opportunity to be able to be part of this. And you know. The other thing is, I just want to say thank you so much, just briefly, to all of our sponsors. I say this because if it wasn't for the sponsors, well, we wouldn't be here.
No.
And we were also able to increase the scholarship funds. And for those that aren't sure about that, when Dan and I sat down and we decided this is something that we wanted to do and we built this program, one of the things that we definitely want to do is have enough sponsors to be able to have a scholarship for a student athlete for the different sports that we broadcast, but also to raise that amount every year until we can at least have $1,000 cap and continue that. And so the criteria, if you will, to be able to do that is simply to have the sponsors that's needed to make it possible. And here we are in our second year. We've had all of our sponsors come back. And then, of course, we've had a couple new ones. Norway Land and Livestock. Bo got a hold of me, and he was just very grateful and thankful for what we do, which was wonderful to hear.
Yeah, that's very gracious.
And, yeah, you know, and just wanted to go ahead and, you know, be part of this. And, you know, I was explaining to him about the different messages we do. He said, Lee, he says, you know what, we're just a rancher, you know, so we're just happy to be able to help.
Just a rancher is like just a farmer. We couldn't live without him.
Exactly, exactly. And, you know, there's a lot of history with, you know, his family here in the valley and all, and so it's just wonderful to have him. But what I'm getting at here is that we're able to raise the scholarship fund.
Yeah, that's it's substantial. I mean, you know, going off to college, I understand it cost a whole lot more than when I went to school. So
absolutely. Well, and the thing of it is, too, we started off with a $500 scholarship last year.
Yeah.
This year, we're raising it $100, so the student athlete will get $600. And, you know, folks might not think that's a lot, but, you know, we're able to increase it. And one of the things is we don't want to try to increase it, even if we can, a lot at one time.
Right.
Because we never want to go backwards, if you will.
Yeah.
And so.
And, you know, I wouldn't scoff at $600. That's $600 you didn't have.
Well,
And,
yeah.
you know, going to school, you need little things like a microwave and a little refrigerator and this, that, and the other thing. You know, holy smokes, a tablet, a laptop. I mean, there's stuff that we never thought about when we were going to school.
Right. Right, and that's the whole thing is that for the scholarship, the student athlete will actually receive the money itself, not to go toward their school,
Sure,
but to go in their hands, in their pocket, so therefore they can get necessity things that they are in need of as well. So
yes. Send them off to school right. That's great.
well, yeah, you know, it's like when Tiani, you know, my youngest went to school. She got some scholarships here from Coquille High School, which was very, very gratifying. But, you know, like you said, you know, I mean, whether it's going to the laundromat, you know, or getting, you know, something to snack on, you know, in the evenings or whatever.
Yeah.
So it all comes around. So.
And the great thing was a lot of the students got multiple scholarships.
Yes.
So they add up quick, and they are a huge help to the student and the family as the student goes off to college. So thank you so much to our sponsors, and as we mentioned them, if you frequent them, if you go and spend money there, tell them thank you so much for their support of the Coquille Red Devils.
And this is another reason why we try to mention them as often as we can. Of course, volleyball and basketball is a little different because it's such a fast-paced sport, especially volleyball, where there's not a lot of timeouts or half times or anything along those lines. So we try to get in as much as possible to get these sponsors noticed. So therefore, you will have that opportunity to be able to stop in and just thank them, because it's a big thing. And a lot of times people say, well, how in the heck can I get involved? Well, there's a couple of different ways. You can get a hold of Tony Jones, our athletic director, and he'll get you my information, or you can find me on what's happening in Coquille, and just look me up, get a hold of me, and by golly, I'll let you know all the details. Tonight is also senior night. And we have Paige, the principal here of Coquille High School, is reading off some information, if you will, about just being good students and helping each other out, so forth and so on. And we're going to get ready for our Pledge of Allegiance. Please join us. To the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right.
All right.
Now we're going to get ready here, I do believe, for some introductions. I'm not sure if they're going to do senior night in between games or how they're actually going to do it.
Oh, maybe we're going to do senior recognition right now.
It could be. I didn't hear what Paige was saying. Yes, they are going to do that. And so that's Holly Bijou.
Right.
That's out there. So Holly is being recognized. She's such a good kid.
Yeah, she's awesome.
She's so humble. She's down there, mom, dad, brother, and all that cool stuff.
And she's an amazing athlete.
She is. You know, she's basketball. She's volleyball. She's done some track. I mean,
boy, she's murder on that basketball court. I'll tell you that.
Well, and the thing of it is, she's such a humble young lady. She really is.
Yeah.
So she's has first league, all league honors. She's just had so many different opportunities. I didn't have an opportunity because I flat forgot, to be honest with you. But I wanted to ask her what college that she was looking at going to. And so I'm going to try to find that out, though, this weekend if we can.
Yeah, we'll have to corner her and find out what her plans are.
So,
all right, Holly, bless your heart.
Well, they're letting everybody know all the things that she has done, the different honors that she has received.
Boy, we'll be here a while.
Oh, my gosh. And there's a lot of them. Because, when you figure from freshman all the way up, she has earned quite a bit. I think, like I said, I think she's going to plan on college here in Oregon. But I'll try to remember to ask her when we see her on Saturday.
Okay.
Because it would be nice to be able to let everybody know.
Sure.
But she got all kinds of goodies and recognition, and by golly, she deserves it all.
Lots of love from her teammates over there, that's for sure.
Absolutely. So, congratulations, Miss Vijou.
Outstanding.
You have lots to be proud of.
Mm-hmm.
So now we'll go ahead and have everybody back on the court here. And
Holly's our only senior this year. Okay.
Yes.
Very good. Well, that's great. That means this awesome team will be back together next year.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, we're going to introduce the Glide Wildcats. And starting is number 3, Brianna Miller, a senior this year. Number 6 is Mila Ranger. She's a senior this year. Number 9 is Emma Geiger, a sophomore this year. 11 is Peyton Geiger. She's a senior this year. Number 12 is Kara Anderson, a sophomore this year. And number 13 is Ella Weber, a freshman this year. Our libero tonight is number 4, Maddie Gomes. And that's the starting lineup for the Glide Wildcats.
And there you are going to get ready.
All right.
For your Lady Red Devils. The final home game, if you will, although we might have some playing games here for state right here at home.
Yeah, that would be great.
That would be fantastic. But we're going to come off with number 1, of course, that's Peyton Drake. Number 3, Candace Little. Number 5, of course, we have Caitlin Johnson. Number 6, we have Debre Crochetier.
Yay! A little powerhouse right there.
That's right. Number 9, Olivia Brophy. Bristol Layton, number 10.
Right. Layton's been doing some great work out there.
And, of course, Holly Vijou. I just love how Coach Mindy changed up the rotation on me here.
Uh-huh.
She says, she gave me one line. She says, no, ain't going to be that one. I said, okay, Coach, which way? So then she went ahead and gave it to me. Well, now you see who's coming out for the starters. It's like, wait a minute. You didn't have me highlight that one or that one.
All right, so the two teams are going through past the net, high-fiving each other, and getting prepared to play the game. The clock is set for the first set in the match.
It's awesome seeing Crochetier out there starting things off. So we got in the back court, we got Johnson, Crochetier, and Little. And then up front, we got Layton, we got Brophy, and Vijou. Now that gives us Johnson for Coquille, Caitlin Johnson, to start with the serving.
Here's the opening serve. Coquille serving to Glide.
So all the girls are kind of getting set, kind of chit-chatting across the net. And now the officials say, let's go get it.
And the bump is up. The set is Ranger. And that's Miller bringing it over the line, out of bounds, and puts one on the board for the Red Devils.
And we are just getting started here this evening. As you mentioned, Glide has come to town to hang out in the Red Devil Dome. Johnson with another serve. Wildcats just couldn't get it up and over well enough. Good serve by Johnson. Then she went about mid-court. Then she went a little shorter to see what she has brings this time. A little bit deeper.
And there's the set by Ranger. A good block by Coquille. The Red Devils send it back, and coming right back to the Red Devils. Good bump by Glide. Here's the set. And Coquille keeping it alive. Crochetier.
It's a great volley back and forth. Layton is all over that net on the blocks. Crochetier with the bump. Johnson on the set. Here comes Viju over the top. Nobody's home. Another point for Coquille. Great volley all the way around.
Absolutely.
You know, Layton is doing a great job also there at the net. I know that we were talking about Everett as well, but here's Johnson on the serve.
And the set over the net, Coquille. And a kill right there, Emma Geiger. Puts a point on the board for Glass.
They snuck that one.
Sure did. And so that'll give the Wildcats the serve, and Breonna Miller on the back line will be serving for Clyde. Here's the serve.
Goes Little. Set. Bijou.
Answered back, and there's the set. Nobody home. 3 of them, nobody called it. That puts a point on the board for Coquille.
So now we'll have Miss Brophy in the back. Little has to sit down. Echeverria comes to the court. Strong serve by Brophy goes out of play.
Yeah, point Wildcats, and that'll give them the serve. Kara Anderson serving for Glide. Here's the serve.
Johnson on the bump, set by Bijou. Nice hit over by Echeverria.
Back over to Coquille.
Oh, it's just out. Bijou had a great idea as it was set perfectly for just to have a little tip over the net, but just went a little too far off to the side, so it goes out of play. 4-3 currently. Coquille sees a 1-point lead.
Here's Anderson with the serve for Glide. All the way back. And out of bounds. Point Coquille will give them the serve. It's 5-3, Coquille.
Crochetier will have a sit down. Everett will come on. Layton back at the serve line for the Red Devils.
And there's the bump, Murphy.
And we got a point for Coquille.
Yeah, couldn't make the set on that one. 6-3, Red Devils.
Layton on the serve. There's
a high
serve.
bump, and there's the set. Back over to Coquille.
Everett. Johnson backwards. Bijou with the kill. Nice set by Johnson, just pushing it behind her. Setting Bijou up perfectly for the kill. As we continue to have Bristol Layton on the serve.
And a good bump. Back over to Coquille, but it's strong, out of bounds. That was Ella Weber. Point Coquille.
Layton again with the serve for Coquille.
And the bump. Oh, nobody home. Somebody called it. Just couldn't get there for the point. 9-3, Coquille. Wildcats trying to get their sea legs under them. First set's always a little tough.
Another good deep serve.
Back over, there's Geiger. Back to Coquille.
It's a beautiful block by Everett. There's a slam kill right there by Bijou. Again, set up very nicely, so she was able to make that hit.
Point Coquille, and the score is 10-3, Red Devils.
Layton continues on the serve.
Murphy with the bump. Back to Coquille.
There's Brophy. Johnson. Echeverria goes over, but it's too long. Out of play. So Layton will have a sit. Peyton Drake comes on to the court.
And Ella Weber takes her spot on the backcourt for serving for the Wildcats. Here's the serve.
Drake to Johnson to Bijou.
And back to Coquille.
And it's out.
A little strong on that one. That was Emma Geiger.
So Coquille sees himself with a sizable lead of 11-4 with Bijou on the serve line. Into the top of the net. Turn that right over to Glide. So as Glide gets set here for serve.
To Coquille.
Brophy to Johnson. Abbott with a good hit over, but it's blocked at the net. Drops right back down on the side of Coquille, so there's a point for Glide as they continue with the serve.
Emma Geiger with the serve to Coquille.
Drake Johnson to Brophy.
Oh, and into the net, trying to get it back to Coquille was Peyton Geiger. Point Coquille, 12-6.
Echeverria will have a sit down as Little comes onto the court to serve.
Boy, and when Cadence gets out there, I'll tell you what, she's murder on the serve.
Well, Candace did that just the other night. Oh, boy, that was a slam. Drake tried to have the bump with it, but it just rolled all around. Couldn't quite get control of that hit. So that's going to be a point for the side of Drake with the score of 12-7 now.
Mila Ranger serving for the Wildcats.
Little just couldn't get it up in the air as it just went driving under the net. So Clyde will continue to serve with a 12-8 now. There's Drake to Johnson. And Brophy with the hit.
There's the set. Anderson.
Goes for Johnson to Drake. Bijou hit it over.
Coming back, Miller. Back over. There's
Drake
Geiger.
To Johnson. Here comes Brophy with the hit.
Geiger down to Ranger and over to Coquille.
Bijou to Johnson. There's Everett, and she gets the point. Everett's going to sit. Layton's coming on. And that's going to put Drake, our libero, at the serve line.
Nice jump serve to Glide. There's the bump and the hit back to Coquille.
And Bijou hits it over. And that's going to be a point as it comes off the fingertips and drops onto the court.
Yeah, that was Peyton Geiger at the net trying with the block. Just too much power behind that ball.
A lot of power.
14-8, Coquille.
Drake serve about mid-court. It's saved by the Wildcats. There's Little. Johnson to Layton, but it's just a little strong. Goes out of play there. I was going to say, that's out of sight. It's out of sight. It's out of play. It's out, period.
It's out of sight. It's out of play. That's for sure. Peyton Geiger serving for the Wildcats. The score, 14-9, Coquille. Here's the serve.
Nice dig by Peyton to Johnson to Brophy.
And there's the set. Anderson trying to pump it over the line. Gets it over to Coquille. Can they save it? They do.
What a great job by Little. My gosh, she was almost in the seats of her teammates. The diving save. Brophy drops it in. It's a point.
Beautiful.
My gosh, that was fantastic. If it wasn't for Little saving that, that would never played out that way.
That was a great set.
Johnson on the serve.
And there's the set. Back to Coquille.
Drake to Johnson. Here comes Brophy with the hit.
Geiger. And,
Man, I tell you what, that just barely stayed in, but that was a really good kill hit.
Good kill.
by Glide that puts them with 10 points and Coquille 15.
Breonna Miller on that kill.
As we are in the first set here tonight.
And Breonna Miller in the back serving for the Wildcats. Here's the serve.
Bijou to Johnson is going to come back to Bijou, but it's too strong and it goes out.
So point Wildcats. It's 15-11 now as the Wildcats close the gap. Coquille still on top. And here's Miller with the serve.
Bijou, Johnson, Layton.
Oh, there's a point for the Wildcats as Drake tried to dig in to get that ball up and just couldn't get there at the right time.
No, I tell you what, she just dove for it, but unfortunately just couldn't reach it.
So here's a serve by Glide. Miller on the serve.
There goes Bijou, Johnson. Over to Layton, and it's a point.
Yes, a nice attempted block by Ella Weber.
Well, you know, Layton's doing something that they just don't expect either. One time she'll hit it soft, about mid-court or so. Sometimes she just barely goes to the net, and with that one, she just hammered it. So they really don't know what's going to be coming.
Yeah, it was too strong to block, that's for sure.
Brophy on the serve.
Anderson, trying to get that over the net and missed it. So point Coquille, 17-12.
Echeverria and Layton both right there on the block on the net. Glide's going to call a timeout as when we get back on the court. Brophy will be at the serve line for the Red Devils. Couple quick thank yous to our sponsors. Right here in Coquille, as well as in Coos Bay right on the highway. Of course, as far as hardware, of course, you know what they tell us. They got everything. And I tell you, they might not have everything, but they've got a whole lot, let me tell you.
You know, I've been shopping there for almost 40 years, and I've only stumped them once.
Well, Milky Way Feed and Tack right down here on Fairview Road.
Yeah.
Evidently, I heard Dave saying something about it's time to get some feed for the birds. That's flocking around. It's going to be wintertime, and they're going to need a little extra feed out there.
Some suet, you bet.
So definitely stop by and see Dave and Karina. They're open 7 days a week right there in Fairview. Milky Way Feed and Tack.
Yep.
Here's Brophy on the serve.
And there's the bump. Over to Coquille.
Brophy, Johnson. Oh, nice setters. Bijou takes it
Wow,
over.
they're going to save that. They do. Great save by the Wildcats.
Drake, Johnson, there's a point.
Yeah.
That's a Maria.
Off the fingertips of Aubrey Murphy, point Coquille. 18-12 Red Devils.
There's Brophy again.
Yeah, we've still got to make a trip up to Milky Way, as a matter of fact, for some of those fly traps. Oh, can they keep it alive?
But it was a darn good try. Well, yeah, I was thinking about putting those up there in the broadcast booth at the football field, but we're not going to be back there, I don't think, anyway, so I might just...
Oh, that's true. Wait till next season.
There's another point for Brophy. Well, the thing of it is, though, I'm still going to put them up because, you get those things hatching or whatever the case is. You don't want them to get too crazy.
No, I agree. The score is 20-12. Brophy on the serve for the Red Devils. And it's picked up. There's Anderson with the set. Oh, and a powerhouse kill. And there's Ella Weber.
I don't think Johnson was ready for that one. That just came right at her.
That thing came at her like a cannonball.
It does. I mean, it's like I don't know. It's just slam.
Kara Anderson serving for Glide.
There's Drake. Johnson, who's it going to be? Oh, it's going to be Bijou out of nowhere, but it goes out of play on the cross side.
And that'll put Anderson in the back for the service to Coquille.
There's Brophy on the bump, and there's Johnson. There's a hit. That's a very over.
There's the set. And too strong. That was Weber. Point Coquille, 21-14.
That will put Layton on the serve. Everett comes on the court. Drake sits down.
There's the set. Weber. Back over to Coquille, out of bounds. And that was Bailey McCall.
So here we are with Layton once again on the serve line. Scores 22-14, Coquille.
And there's the set. Weber back to Coquille.
It's Judah Johnson who puts it over. And they're going to say that it was hit twice over here on the Coquille side. So that's going to be a point and turnover for the Wildcats.
Ella Weber, she'll be serving for the Wildcats. Jump serve.
There's Brophy to Drake. Brophy back over.
And back to Coquille into the net. Point Coquille. 23-15, Red Devils.
There's the serve.
There's McCall. Ranger back over to Coquille.
Well, what are they?
I don't know. Maybe they got into the net. I didn't see how they got that point, but point for Glide, 23-16 Red Devils, and here's the serve coming from Emma Geiger.
There's the bump by Brophy, the set by Johnson. Viju takes it over.
There's the set. And back over to Coquille. And the shank sends it out of bounds. That'll be point for Glide.
Well, Drake was almost in position for that. That ball kind of tailed a little bit.
Yeah. Again, Emma Geiger serving.
Drake. That's Averia. Oh. What are they calling it twice again?
Step out of bounds or?
No, for somehow or another they called it twice again on him.
Huh.
Oh, nice job by Johnson to get it over.
Here's the set. Oh, and a nice block by Coquille sends it back. And into the net, point Coquille. And that was Peyton Geiger.
Thank you, Sean.
So this will be set point. 24-18 Coquille. Here's the serve.
Candace Little.
And there's Ranger over the net back to Coquille.
Bijou, Johnson, and Brophy, but it hits the net. Drops down.
Nice block by the Wildcats, and that'll give them the serve. That takes Mila Ranger to the back line to serve for Glide. Here's the serve. And there's Johnson. Layton, too strong, point Wildcats. Closing the gap, Coquille with a 4-point lead at 24. And here's the serve by Ranger. Into the net, point Coquille, and that's the set. 25-20 Coquille.
I'll tell you what, Glide definitely came back.
Yeah, they sure did.
Because they were down by a few.
Yeah, and they were closing the gap.
So they came back strong. And, of course, a lot of great play right there by the Lady Red Devils as a whole. But once again, we're seeing Candace Little just doing a great job on the court. But really impressed there with Bristol Layton right along with Coral Everett right there on the net. I mean, they're doing a great job with the blocking tonight.
Yeah, they really are. We've seen some beautiful blocking.
You know, we were saying how we definitely miss Lexi Lucatero with her injury, but these ladies have really helped step it up so they can continue in that place where they need to be.
Yeah, you know, Lexi's a very pivotal player on the team. You can see it when she's not on the court. So got about a minute and a half left before our teams get back on the court. I'd like to take a second and thank our friends at East Fork Lumber Company and the beautiful work that's being done down at Inspired Ink Tattoo Shop. Down there next to the produce stand. If you're thinking about having any body work done, any ink work done, get up with Inspired Ink Tattoo Shop. First Community Credit Union, and, of course, our friends out there at Coquille Tire keeping us safe on the road. They'll keep you safe and can put shoes on just about any pony you're riding. We've got the M&P Auto and Rigging out there on Highway 42 in Myrtle Point. They have car parts and logging equipment, firefighting equipment, and the last ad I saw, they even had a selection of ladies' handbags there. I'm not sure if those are the concealed carry handbags.
They are.
Yeah.
They are, yeah. They started carrying those actually a few years ago, and been very, very popular with the ladies.
They should be. Absolutely. Yeah, so hats off to MP Auto and Rigging. You ladies might want to get down there and check that out.
Yep.
Umpqua Bank and Myrtle Veterinarian Hospital. Our teams are back out onto the court. Thank you so much to Roseburg Forest Products and CarQuest Auto Parts.
Also, a shout out to O'Neill's Overhead Doors and Continuous Gutters. They help us get to point A to point B as well. And I understand that if you're looking for work, they're hiring. So
outstanding.
Over there at 625 H Street in Coquille. That's on the east side of town, over by the Pepsi plant.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's a good trade to be involved in.
Yeah, very busy at the moment. So they're definitely looking for a few folks.
All right. They're saying, let's play ball. We're back there on the back, and the Wildcats will be serving. That is Breonna Miller with the serve to Coquille.
Vijou to Johnson. Brophy with the hard hit over and point.
Boy, Anderson took a dive on that hardwood floor. She's shaking it off now, but man, she hit hard. What a tough kid. Back up on her feet and ready to play. Coquille with the serve. The score is 1-0.
That's Johnson. There goes Brophy. Johnson with the set and the hit by Vijou.
Point Coquille.
A little bit too tight into the net there.
Uh-huh.
So Coquille with a good start here in the second set with Caitlin Johnson on the serve line. Nice crowd that came out tonight. We appreciate that. Oh, just a little strong. You don't see that too often with Caitlin.
No, she usually sits that in the back court or the center court.
You can just see that look on her face. It's like, arr.
Yeah. She's very competitive. She's such an asset to this team. And the serve to Coquille went into the net. That's point Coquille, and we'll turn the serve over to them. Put Brophy on the back line. Score is 3-1, Red Devils. And the serve. There's the bump. Anderson sends it back to Coquille. There's Vijou sending it back to the Wildcats. And that's line judge had to jump out of the way, but it was good. All right, that's point Red Devils, 4-1.
You got to jump out of the way. At least I would be.
Yeah, especially when Brophy's hitting that ball.
Man,
Holy
I tell you
smoke.
what. It's like, watch out, sports fans. That one just went a little too far out of play, but that's all right. It's 4-2. We're just now getting started here in the second set.
And the serve to Coquille.
There's Drake. Johnson. Oh, Vijou just barely tips it over.
Wow, and with the tip, she gets another kill. Outstanding.
Oh, you got to love it. The kids are all running around with a cup of soup.
Yeah, they all got cup of noodles.
There's Leighton on the serve.
All right, Anderson sends it back into the net. Point Coquille. 6-2.
No, I tell you, the bench over there for Coquille is just having such a good time. They're hooting, and Drake leads that crew. Good serve again by Leighton.
And there's Ranger. Too strong. Point Red Devils.
So Leighton back there on the serve for the Red Devils.
Anderson sends it back.
Brophy to Johnson. Back to Brophy for the hit.
And there's Ranger. Back to Coquille.
Oh, nicely done by the Wildcats. Brophy went ahead and just sent it up over the net, and it was met on the other side with a nice little touch back into Coquille, which hits the deck there. So the Wildcats end up with the serve and point.
Yeah, that was Peyton Geiger on that point four for Wildcats. Here's the serve. That's Emma Geiger.
There's Drake on the bump to Johnson. Bijou's going to come around.
Geiger back to Ranger over the net. Save it, Coquille. Good work. Back to the Red Devils.
Oh, my gosh. These ladies are just going back and forth.
Amazing stuff.
Able to save a lot of this. Drake, great job. Johnson, here comes Averett, and it's going to be a point. Man, I tell you just going to have to go to YouTube, folks. Not YouTube TV, but just YouTube, and put in CHS events or CH8, either way. And you've got to be able to watch these games. Tonight has just been another amazing set with these Lady Red Devils. And it gets going sometimes. We apologize that, we might not keep it, going for each and every play here because sometimes it's just too quick.
Yeah, it's like calling basketball. You got to be an auctioneer.
So the serve by Bijou.
Back to Coquille Miller.
The bump, the set, Bijou with the kill, and it's there.
Third kill for Bijou tonight.
On what is that? What's happening, Coquille? Lisa Johnson has put some stats up there that's been really great to see also, so thank you to that.
Yes, absolutely.
Nice. Drake Johnson. Who's going to be? Echeverria. And it's another point.
Another point. Lily gets in there and puts it on for the Red Devils. 11-3. And timeout called on the Wildcat side of the ball.
Just too much fun.
Yep.
I tell you, a couple of years ago when they said volleyball is going to be so much fun for you guys to call, and we kind of looked at each other, and how true is that?
Yeah, but I was like, man, I can't even spell volleyball. They want me to call the game.
Hey, Jared over there that owns East Fork Lumber Company on Highway 42, you'll see his trucks rolling up and down the highway with some logs on there. But just want to say thank you so very, very much once again for sponsoring with us. And, of course, we just mentioned Lisa Johnson, Caitlin's mom. Inspired Ink Tattoo Shop. She's on Highway 42, and she's right next to the deli that Rufus owns over there. Rufus, another great guy in our community. He's a coach and works a lot with the younger kids.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's really, really cool.
Hats off to him. That's a patient individual.
Absolutely, absolutely. And thanks again to our friends down there at Coquille Tire and for keeping us going down the highway safe as safe could be. And with winter coming and everything else, some tires they put on, last year, they still look brand spanking new.
Yeah, they sure do.
And there's a lot of miles on them tires.
They have, chasing the Red Devils and put the miles on there.
Here's Bijou with the serve, just barely over the net, and it drops for a point.
All right, a nice ace for Bijou.
And, Myrtle Veterinary Hospital, they're coming along really well with their new hospital here in Coquille also.
I'm so curious. I just want to take a tour of it when they get it open.
Oh, you shall. Another good serve by Bijou.
And there's the spike and a point for the Wildcats.
A little lack of communication between Brophy and Drake. They just kind of look at each other and say, that ain't happening again.
And that'll take Peyton Geiger to the back court for the service. Here's the serve.
That's Brophy. Nice little tap over by the Wildcats, and that drops in for a point.
Here's the serve to Coquille.
Bijou with the bump to Johnson on the set. Echeverria goes over.
And there's Ranger. Back to Coquille.
Back to Drake to Johnson. Bijou coming over with the hit, and it's going to be a point.
Bailey McCall going for the dig on the Wildcat side of the ball. Just couldn't get that ball to the next player. Point Coquille. It's 13-5. Red Devils.
Echeverria comes out, and we're going to see Candace Little coming in, and she will be serving.
Oh, nobody for the set. After Emma Geiger with the bump, nobody there for the set. Point Coquille 14-5.
There's going to be so much fun, I think, in this tournament Saturday because these are going to be teams that these girls have never seen before.
Exactly. And there's the set, Ranger. Weber trying to get it over the net. A little low on that one. Point Coquille 15-5.
Well, and you know, a lot of these teams are coming from bigger cities.
Yeah.
Which, as you know, gives more availability for players.
Absolutely. Yeah, they have huge rosters coming from big cities.
Great save by Brophy. Johnson over.
Wildcats and Weber trying over the line.
Bijou to Johnson, and Brophy's going to tap it over.
There's Ranger. Miller. Back to Coquille.
Johnson with the set. But Avery just went ahead and slammed it over the net, but was met with a block that comes off the fingertips of Coquille out of bounds. So that'll be a point for Clyde and serve. 15-6 currently. That's a line drive right to Bijou. Came off of her hands somehow. It just kind of fell downward.
There's the serve.
Bijou, Johnson. Bijou again with the hit.
And Miller trying to get the bump. Can't do it. Point Coquille, 16-7.
So now we got Peyton Drake. Got a little fella just running like crazy down here.
Back to Coquille.
Little to Johnson. Leighton over.
And there's the set. Miller back to Coquille.
There's Brophy on the hit. Johnson on the set. It's going to be Leighton again.
And Miller back to Coquille.
Drake, Johnson. Brophy with the hard hit.
That's Ranger.
Nice save by Johnson to Drake. Now Bijou hits.
There's Ranger. Weber. It's inside.
Oh, just barely inside.
Point Wildcats. 16-8. And Wildcats will take the serve. That's Brianna Miller in the backcourt serving for Clyde Wildcats. Here's the serve.
Bijou with the bump. Johnson over to Brophy with the hit. And it's going to be a point.
Nice, yeah. Geiger going for the dig. Wrong place at the wrong time. Point Coquille 17-8.
So that's going to put Johnson on the serve line.
And there's Anderson. Ranger. Anderson back to Coquille.
There's Drake to Johnson. Who's going to pull it?
Oh, wow. Weber with a nice block and tap downward.
I'm surprised that it went like that because the ball for Coquille never even crossed over the net.
No, and she
came over the other side before Coquille could even make the play.
Apparently that's okay.
I guess. I didn't think it was.
No, I didn't either.
Needless to say, the Wildcats do pick up another point, continue to serve with the score tonight. 17-10.
Maddie Gomes, our libero tonight, serving.
Little, Johnson, Bijou with the hit and an ill.
The power slam, Aubrey Murphy trying to control that ball as it came in. Point Coquille, 18-10.
Brophy on the serve.
There's Gomes. And Ranger, back to Murphy.
Brophy to Johnson. Echeverria, but it's too strong as she went across court. Tell me these girls ain't fired up. Some of them that place it in certain little areas, and it's like they're going off the court.
Bailey McCall serving for the Wildcats.
And it's out.
Uh-huh.
He's got the radio shirt on.
Yeah, he does.
That's our little Luke Catero man.
We got a couple little guys running back and forth knee-high to a grasshopper. I wish I had a couple of drops of their energy.
Leighton on the serve.
And there's Gomes. Anderson with the set back over. There's Ranger.
Bijou. Johnson, who's going to pull it? Averett does.
And the set. Geiger saved by Wildcats.
Brophy, Johnson, Averett over. Nice play, ladies.
Anderson.
Great save by Brophy. Comes around. Averett's going over again.
Yeah. There's Ranger back to Coquille.
Brophy, Johnson.
Oh.
Bijou came out of nowhere to tap it over, but was met at the net and drops back down for a point for the Wildcats as they take the serve back.
And serving will be Mila Ranger. Maybe not. Mila's got the ball. Let's see who they send to the backcourt. Okay, we're going to send Emma Geiger to the backcourt. She'll serve for the Wildcats. 19-12. Here's the serve.
There's the bump by Brophy, the set to Johnson. No, and it's another point. There it is.
There it is. Echeverria gets her point back. And the score is 20-12. Coquille.
Nice serve by Bijou.
And Ranger over the net is Geiger.
Oh, nice job by Brophy.
Oh,
They
wow. What a save.
save it. Is it out? Yes, just barely.
Unfortunately.
Great job over there, Echeverria. Brophy.
What effort to keep that ball alive.
I tell you, it was not out of bounds by much.
20-13, Coquille on top. And to the back line is Peyton Geiger. She'll be serving for the Wildcats. Here's the serve.
There's Drake to Johnson. Averett with the hit.
Ranger Miller back to Coquille.
Bijou with the bump. Johnson. And it's a point again. That's Echeverria.
Inside. You know when Lily's on the court, that's for sure.
Man.
21-13. Red Devils on top and taking the service. Cadence Little to the back line. And Gomes, there's the set. Back over, there's Ranger. Coquille.
There's Drake to Johnson. Bijou, but it's into the net.
21-14 point Wildcats. As number 6, Mila Ranger, takes it to the backcourt. She'll be serving for Glide. Oh, nobody for the... Bijou got the bump. And Johnson trying to get in there for the set. There's Johnson with the set.
Avery with the point.
Outstanding.
Avery with the point.
See, this is where I get in trouble. I get confused between Leighton and Avery.
Averett.
Averett. I get confused between Miss Averett and Miss Leighton.
That's all right, because we got Peyton Drake at the side.
That's right.
At the side. Serving, excuse me.
Oh,
and it's going to be a point. Yes.
Point Coquille, 23-15.
And it's Peyton.
No way to save that one.
Point right there. So we're looking at
That's
game point, set point, 24-15 currently for Coquille.
Peyton Drake serving. There it is. Can they keep it alive? There's the set. Back to Coquille.
And it's out.
Out. 25-15. Coquille takes the second set.
Man, I tell you, the girls are on fire. Playing extremely well.
Yeah, outstanding work. Hey, I'd like to say thank you so much to CarQuest Auto Parts and Econo Rooter out there at the end of town. Brown Trucking and Development. Of course, Lee mentioned Neil O'Neill's overhead doors and continuous gutters. Also, they are hiring right now. If you need to look into that, be a good place to work. Midwest Coast Flooring. They install what they sell down by the airport, and they have a wide variety of flooring for you to choose from. And Coquille Toyota, they've got an interesting, oh gosh, what would you call it? They've got a giveaway going on.
Oh, they do?
Yes, where you can go down and register to win a new car. Details at Coquille Toyota. Stop by, say hello, and sign up to win.
Shoot.
I don't know all the details. I caught a little bit of it on the radio in the shop today.
Yeah.
But I didn't catch it all. But I caught the good part. And you can go down and enter to win a Toyota. Somebody's going to win a car this year.
Somebody's going to win.
Somebody's going to win. I'm going to get down there and get me a ticket.
Somebody.
That's right. And Norway Land and Livestock, thank you so much for coming on board and supporting the Coquille Red Devils, along with our friends, the cast and crew down there at the Sawdust Theater.
Absolutely.
Fun place to spend your time. Yeah, we went down and saw a show this year, and gosh, we had to run home and get the neighbors and take them down the next weekend.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You guys have got to see this.
Well, that's why I said Saturday, not this weekend, but next weekend.
Yeah.
It's a boy named Sue. It's a tribute to Johnny Cash.
Yeah, I want to check it out.
Well, I tell you, you might want to check out some tickets by getting hold of the theater.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't be surprised if it sells out. I really wouldn't. And, you know, they're going to have a couple other different, I do believe, Christmas shows coming up also.
Oh, yeah, I'll bet they will.
That's always a lot of fun.
You betcha.
So here we are with Coquille winning the first and second set. Going into the third, as Dan and I were talking, it was looking like there would be a good possibility, only because Coquille is playing so well that on paper it looks to be that way, but we also know paper means nothing.
Yeah, the paper do lie from time to time.
But we got Caitlin Johnson is going to be at the serve line for the Lady Red Devils to start things off. Crochetier, Drake in the back. You've got Leighton, Vijou, and Brophy up front. That will be starting right here for the Red Devils in the third.
And the serve to the Wildcats. There's Anderson. Oh, into the net. You can't save it. That was Bailey McCall for the Wildcats, trying to get that ball over to Coquille. Coquille up by one. And there's the set. Out there's Ranger. Weber to Coquille.
There's Drake with the bump. Johnson on the set. Vijou comes over, and it's met at the net, and they pop it right back over. So that's going to be point and serve going to the Wildcats. Want to just remind folks, we will be traveling tomorrow.
Miller on the serve.
Vijou, Johnson, Peyton, just too strong. Yeah, we'll be on the road for a little Friday night underneath the lights. We'll be going to Douglas, which is right there on Highway 42 before you head into Winston.
Playing the Trojans tomorrow night.
Vijou at the bump. Johnson tried to pick it up as it went into the net, just couldn't quite get to it.
And the Wildcats leading the set right now with a score of 3-1. Here's Miller on the back serving.
Vijou on the bump. Johnson on the set. Leighton going over.
There's Miller and Ranger. Weber. Oh, Drake tried to get a piece of that ball off her hands and into the back. Point for Wildcats, 4-1.
Just a little too high for it to actually get to. Talking about that the other night. All they needed to be was another foot taller.
Another foot taller. So here's Breonna Miller with the serve.
Crochetier with a great dig. Johnson, Vijou with the hit.
Weber back to Coquille.
Strong hit going in the opposite corner by Vijou. Gets the point for Coquille. As Coquille finds themselves down by 2 as it's 4-2. Wildcats up. Crochetier comes off as Echeverria comes on.
And Miller coming off. Aubrey Murphy taking her place on the court.
Brophy's going to be on the serve line.
And there's the set by Weber, putting it back over to Coquille.
Bump by Brophy, the set by Johnson. Who's bringing it? Drake brings it hard. But just saying that there was a hand up and over the way it hit. Kind of like cupped the ball. Drake just says, okay.
Ella Weber.
She says nothing but smiles. Although a lack of communication between Drake and Brophy, ball goes right in between them.
Yeah, attitude like her, she'll probably live 100 years. Ella Weber serving for the Wildcats. Here's the serve.
There's Drake over to Johnson. Brophy with the hit, but it catches the net and doesn't quite get over.
Weber on the back line serving. Jump serve.
There's Johnson. It goes over.
Anderson. Ranger. Geiger back to Coquille.
Great dig by the Red Devils. Oh, it was just right, laid perfectly between the first and or the front and back row. Brophy leaped once again to try to get to it. Just quite couldn't make it.
Red Devils down by 6 with a score of 2. Here's the serve from the Wildcats.
There's the bump, the serve. Echeverria over. And a nice save that makes it back over by the Red Devils.
Geiger.
Johnson back to Bijou. And there's a point. Now maybe Coquille go ahead and start getting on that roll as they are down by 5. It's 8-3 in the third set. Layton is going to be serving for the Red Devils.
Ranger, there's the set and back over. A nice kill right there by Peyton Geiger for the Wildcats.
Well, for some reason, the Red Devils are just a little out of formation. They only had 2 in the back court, and the other 4 were up front. So the Wildcats were able to sneak that right on by.
Ariana Bellor serving for.
Drake to Johnson. Bijou with the point. She will also be serving for the Red Devils.
Gomes and Ranger. Geiger to Coquille.
Bijou at the bump. Here's Johnson. And Everett will have the point. The hit is strong.
Red Devils down by 4, closing that gap. It's 9-5, Wildcats. And there's Murphy. Ranger. Anderson over the net.
Brophy to Johnson. Echeverria hits.
Anderson blocked. Oh, over the net. Point, Wildcats.
It was a good block at the net between Johnson and Everett, but we just couldn't get it back up and over.
And so that puts Kara Anderson through the backcourt, serving for Glide. Serve was
just
serve was
in. That's a nice ace right there.
I'd say first ace of the game. Coquille down by 6. The score's 11 for the Wildcats. And this puts Anderson in the back. Here's the serve.
Brophy on the bump. Over to Johnson. Everest.
And there's the set.
Nice job by Everett to go ahead and just bump it over the net. Get the point.
And that'll give the serve to the Red Devils. Anderson coming off the court. And Emma Geiger taking her spot.
Crochetier coming on.
Over to Coquille.
Brophy, Johnson. Abbott with a strong hit over, but met at the net. Comes right back over. Point for the Wildcats.
12-6 Glide. And Peyton Geiger in the backcourt serving for the Wildcats.
Johnson puts it over.
Ranger back to Coquille.
Johnson. Coquille just cannot get up underneath it. Boy, they're just having a tough time this series.
They really are.
They're down 13-6. Going to have a timeout called by Coquille. Coach Mindy have a little talk with the girls and get them all calmed down and figure it out and say, come on, ladies, let's go ahead and get this one back.
You betcha.
I got to say thanks once again to the fine folks at Roseburg Forest Products. Man, they're going to be creating a lot more jobs, it looks like, as they are expanding the lumber yard over here.
Outstanding.
Yeah, I tell you what, it's really something. And, you know, the thing of it is, winter is upon us. It amazed me the last 2 days. It rained like heck in the morning. Then the sun came out and it was warm.
Yep.
But still, if you need wiper blades, make sure you go see our friends at CarQuest Auto Parts. The other thing is, too, make sure that you get some good window washer fluid as well.
And check your antifreeze. It's going to get cold.
It's going to get down there. I saw that pretty much it's not going to get any warmer than the mid-60s, at least here in Coquille for this week and next.
Yeah.
So definitely want to get that taken care of. And let's not forget about Econoroot. If you've got a septic system and that has not been serviced and checked and all, it definitely needs to be done, especially with the holidays coming, people coming to visit.
You bet.
There's Viju to Johnson. Abbott puts it over, but it's met at the net once again.
Boy, I'll tell you, too, there's no nightmare like a failed septic system. You really should stay up on your maintenance. And a Econorouter can take care of that for you.
Well, you want to make sure your leach field's in good shape and everything else.
Yeah, you betcha.
They're the ones to call. Johnson puts it over. Gauchetier. Brophy is met at the net. Great save by the Coquille ladies. Over by Holly Bijou and into the net by the Wildcats. Talk about a joint effort. Great hustle by the Lady Red Devils. Gauchetier really set that up a couple different times, saving the Red Devils to be able to get that point. So Layton comes back on the court. You got Layton, Brophy, and Johnson on the front line.
And there's Ranger with the set. Miller sending it back over the line.
Another good hit by Gauchetier. Over to Brophy. Great save. Gauchetier, Johnson over.
Ranger, here's Weber.
Bijou, Johnson. Drake puts it over. Oh, but it's out too much on the side. Superb play, though, by Gauchetier. Coming off the bench there and just playing extremely well. 15-7, Coquille down by 8.
That puts Mila Ranger in the backcourt serving 4. The Wildcats, here's the serve.
That's Bijou to Johnson. Layton over. Nope. Bijou to Johnson again. Who's going to take it? Brophy does.
There's Miller. Ranger. Back over to Coquille.
Gauchetier, Johnson over. Yeah. They're going to say it was hit twice by Johnson.
16-7. Coquille in trouble on this set. Into the net. 16-8. Point Coquille. Now they'll get the serve.
Well, Coquille just needs to get on a bit of a roll.
Yeah. Yes, they do. Get this gap closed. There's Ranger, Weber.
Beautifully placed. Just again out of the reach of the Lady Red Devils. They're giving it their all, but they are just seeing the Wildcats come out in this set like never before.
Yeah.
At least for tonight.
Miller.
Bijou to Johnson. Bijou's going to take the hit, and it's a point. So that puts 9 on the board for Coquille as the Wildcats have 17. Now Brophy is going to be back at the line for the Lady Red Devils.
Gauchetier coming off the court, giving Echeverria going to take her place. And there's Murphy back to Coquille.
Layton, Johnson to Bijou, and that's going to be a point.
Point Red Devils as they begin to close the gap. It's 10-17. Wildcats on top.
Here comes Brophy with a good line drive serve. Echeverria to Johnson. Rijou with the hard hit.
Anderson sending it back.
There's Drake over to Johnson. Oh, Rijou comes in with the hard hit. Great effort at the net by the Lady Red Devils is that they had to dive down deep as it just got back over on their side. But unfortunately, as it got hit, it went out of bounds.
There's the serve. And a shank into the crowd. Point for the Wildcats, 19-10.
Both of you doing a good job hustling to try to get to the side there. Just couldn't maintain it.
Service to Coquille.
Johnson over by Rijou. And it's out. So that'll help Coquille with the point. As Everett's going to come on. Drake will sit down to our breather. Layton with the serve.
There's Murphy with the bump, the set, and Anderson sending it back.
Brophy to Johnson. Rijou over with a nice little touch. Right in between lines for a point. Closing the gap a little bit as it's 19-12. Coquille down by 7 with Layton on the serve. Johnson. Averett. Echeverria. Point.
Right. Point Coquille, 19-13 Wildcats, as the Red Devils are working to close this gap. Coral Averett serving for Coquille.
Layton serving.
Oh, is that Layton? See, I told you I had him confused.
Nice save by Layton. Over by Johnson.
Well, see, this doesn't help when she's wearing number 10.
Right? No, Coral's 7.
Who's on first?
Yeah, Coral is 7. I'll have to get you.
What's on second?
I'll have to get you an updated.
I don't know who's on third.
I'll get you an updated roster, my brother.
Okay.
You got to quit writing on these things because I get confused.
Oh, nice block by Anderson for the Wildcats. Puts a point on the board for them. It's 20-13.
They've only changed numbers 3 times.
Yeah. And you can see my roster's got all kinds of. I was down there one time with the coach trying to get it straight.
Echeverria, Johnson, Averett. Oh, now they're going to say it was back over. So too close into the net by the Wildcats. So it's 20-15. Rijou on the serve line. Coquille now down by 5.
Oh,
Into the net.
and the score's 21-15. Take Anderson to the back of the court for the Wildcats. Here's the serve. There's Drake, Johnson with the set. Bijou. And it's blocked down there by Geiger, or Peyton Geiger, yes. Point 4, it's 22-15. Anderson, here's the serve.
That's Bijou over to Johnson. Averett with the hard hit and a point.
Thank you, Lee.
Coach Shatier coming back onto the court. Echeverria will have a sit down.
And the serve to the Wildcats. There's Miller. The set by Ranger Miller back to Coquille.
Coach Shatier to Johnson. Averett back over.
And the set, Miller back to Coquille. Oh, Drake.
But she is just so close. She dove for it, trying to get to it, and it just goes off the tip of her hand and goes out of bounds. But it's not like she isn't trying. My gosh, that woman is everywhere on this court.
Yes, she is. Here's the serve from the Wildcats.
Rocheteer. Back over to Brophy. Good net play by the Wildcats and the Red Devils. And it went off the hand of Everett, and the back court here just couldn't get to it for the Red Devils. So it's 24-16, game point here for the Wildcats.
Here's the serve.
Bijou to Johnson. Bijou's coming back again. Brophy with a hard hit return. And then a soft touch by Brophy, and it's going to be a point for the Red Devils.
Nice work.
So they stay alive here in the third set. Layton comes back on the court as Everett takes a sit. Peyton Drake on the serve.
And there's the set, Ranger. Weber over to Coquille.
Drake, Johnson, Bijou.
Ranger with the set. And there's Weber with the point.
Came off of, I think, Layton's fingers. And unfortunately, Coquille could not retain it. So, man, I tell you what, you've got to give that set to Glide, of course.
Yep,
they just don't win it.
Yep.
But they dominated it.
They sure did.
They came out in that third set, and they were just definitely ready to play. Such a different team here than the first two.
Absolutely. And Coquille as well.
Yeah, and you know, the placement where the balls were hit were perfect because we saw it numerous times, you know, especially with Drake, just reaching out there trying to get, and just barely not able to get to it. So again, placed extremely well. So as we were talking about, we're going to be in Douglas tomorrow, Douglas High School. There, as you are approaching into Winston.
About 6:45 we'll go on the air for the pregame report.
Absolutely.
And kickoff should be around 7 p.m.
And then don't forget, over in Marshfield at the West Gym, we'll be there for the Marshfield Invitational Tournament, put on by Marshfield, of course. The Lady Red Devils will play North Eugene at 8:30. Get there a little early because they are known to start a little earlier.
Yes, they have.
And then they play again. Their second game will be against the Dowels. That'll be at 11:30. And then following right after at 12:30, the Lady Red Devils will play Junction City. So they have not played these ladies before. So it's going to be a very interesting tournament. Should be a very good one.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it Saturday. It'll be an all-dayer, but, yeah, we'll see some great volleyball. And I'm excited to see those new teams coming into town, too.
Well, yeah, and that's just the pool play.
Yeah.
After that, depending on who does what, they will have an opportunity to play in the regular tournament play. So teams are talking it up amongst each other. Peyton Drake's talking to the coach over there, maybe getting a couple other thoughts of how to reach out maybe a little bit further.
Yeah, I noticed the official was chatting with him over there a bit as well. Maybe she's just checking the rotation, but yeah, both teams are on the court now ready to play, about 30 seconds away from the beginning of the fourth set in the match, or the fourth match in the set.
And you got Drake, you got Little and Bijou on the back court for the doubles. And then you got Layton, Johnson, and Brophy on the front for the Lady Red Devils.
And there's the serve.
And it's to Drake. Johnson, here comes Brophy with a hard hit, and it's going to be a point.
Service goes to the Red Devils.
And that's going to be Miss Johnson, Caitlin Johnson with the serve.
And to Murphy. Weber. Ranger back to Coquille.
Drake on the hit to Johnson. Behind her. And that's Bijou who kills it on the other side and gets the point. These ladies don't really like getting outplayed. Have you noticed that?
No.
They kind of come back with a vengeance.
Yes, they do. Yeah, they don't care much for losing
No, they do not.
a set at all.
Johnson's good serve.
And there's Ranger. Anderson, too strong. Point on the board for Coquille. It's 3-zip Red Devils. And Johnson continues to serve.
Good serve.
Geiger shanks it. Puts a point on the board for Coquille, 4-zip.
I think Peyton Drake is the biggest cheerleader of them all.
I think so. There's Geiger. And Ranger Anderson. Oh! In between Drake and Little.
That was one of those, which way we going?
Yeah.
And it's that split second you got to figure it out, and if you don't, it's going to drop for a point.
Like two guys going for the pop fly.
Yeah. There's Little to Johnson. There's Bijou.
Murphy to Ranger. And a nice kill right there by Geiger.
You know, it's right to the right side of Drake and just over the shoulder of Johnson back there. And they've placed it there a few times. They've been very successful with it. There's Drake, Johnson, Bijou, and it's in. Another kill.
That's 5 for this game for Bijou.
So Miss Brophy will be serving on the back line for the Red Devils. 5-2 currently. Coquille won the first 2 sets. Behind won the third, and there's off the net ace for Brophy. Good strong serve, but it's just too far. So that'll turn over the point and the serve. 6-3. Coquille up by 3. Serve going to the Wildcats.
That takes Ariana Belor to the back court. She'll be serving for the Wildcats. Here's the serve. And just shy of the net, point Coquille.
Holly was ducking. She was ducking as that ball came on through because it just had a spin to it. It kind of hit under the net, just kind of went the opposite way. Here's Leighton on the serve.
And there's the set. Anderson tipping it over. Nobody home. Point Wildcats. That'll give them the serve. And our libero, Maddie Gomes. Nope. It'll be Kara Anderson.
And Drake comes back on the court, speaking of liberos, and Leighton sits down. Brophy with the bump. Johnson on the set. And it's a kill by Bijou, as the Wildcats just cannot handle the strength of the hard hit. So Bijou will go back to the serve line. 8-4. Coquille up by 4.
There's Gomes. And over the net. Back to Coquille.
Goes back around. Echeverria is just pounding that ball. A little bit too strong.
Peyton Geiger serving for the Wildcats.
Johnson puts it back over.
And a high set with Weber.
Bijou to Johnson. Coming back to Bijou.
And Ranger. Weber back over to Coquille.
Bijou on the bump. Johnson on the set. Average over, and it's a point. Coming off over the net.
9-5, Red Devils.
Little coming back on as Echeverria has a sit. Little comes on so she can serve. There's a fine job at it. And it's a point.
Yeah, a nice little ace right there.
Into the net. So 10-6 now. Wildcats take the point and the serve.
And that'll take Mila Ranger to the backcourt for the serve. Here it is.
Little. Johnson all the way over to Brophy.
And a high set, there's Ranger. Back to the Red Devils.
Little to Drake. And it drops down in front of the net of Coquille as Brophy and Averett just could not get to it.
Into the net, point Coquille.
I know the Red Devils will be happy to get that one back.
You bet.
So Layton's going to come back on the court for the Lady Red Devils as Averett has a sit down. Served by Drake is powerful. And they just can't handle it. So there's a point for Coquille. 12-7. Drake serve. And it's out.
A little too hard. Point for the Wildcats.
Well, the girls have a day to rest up tomorrow before they go into that tournament on Saturday.
And we've got Brianna Miller serving for Glide. Here's the serve. Oh, man.
Great job by the ladies. Out. It is out. What a great save that Lady Red Devils put together and a great combination hit there.
Yeah, that was pretty remarkable.
I thought sure it was going to be a point Wildcats, but the Red Devils turned that right around.
I did as well.
Johnson on a good serve.
There's Anderson with the bump and the set. Geiger back over his Ranger.
There's Drake over to Johnson on the backside, and it's another kill for Bijou.
That's number 7 in this game for Holly. Wow. 14-8 Red Devils as timeout's been called on the Wildcat side of the ball. Amazing stuff.
And I tell you what, the girls are coming back like they normally would be playing here, just taking control of this fourth set. As we know that there has been only, I think about 3 times this year where they've actually gone to a fourth set.
Yeah.
I
that
mean,
is
you
true.
know,
it doesn't happen very often.
3 or 4 times in the amount of games that they've been playing, which is not many whatsoever.
No, as a matter of fact, I think all season they've only got 2 losses.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, not many games went into the fourth set.
Well, and as you mentioned earlier, they're in a great position currently, to be looking at going into state.
Yes, absolutely.
So a victory right here in this fourth set would just set them off even better as Johnson serves.
There's Geiger. Ranger with the bump.
Yeah, there's a little intimidation by Layton right there at the net.
Yeah, Bailey McCall trying to get that ball over the net. Met by a Red Devil.
Yeah, and she didn't get it over. Layton just smiled as she looked over to Mom and Dad over here. Got a good serve.
Murphy back to Coquille.
Little. Johnson, who's going to have it? Well, is it in? Oh, they're saying it's out. They're saying Bijou hit it just a little too strong. It was very close.
Yeah, that was a close one. And that'll take Ella Weber back court. Service for the Wildcats.
There's a bump by Drake and the set by... There's a kill by Bijou.
Holy smokes, number 8.
Man.
In this game. Little taking the rest and putting Echeverria back on the court for Coquille. There's Murphy and Miller. Anderson sends it back.
There's Drake over to Johnson. To the back to Bijou.
Ranger, Anderson back to Coquille.
Brophy, Johnson, Drake.
Oh, a little light on that hit, getting it over. Bailey McCall with an attempt to get it back to Coquille.
Yes, yes, yes.
And point Red Devils 17-9.
Brophy, good solid serve.
Gomes getting it back over the net.
Comes back with the bump, the set. Layton over.
There's Gomes, Ranger.
Drake, Johnson. Echeverria.
Back to Gomes. Ranger with the set. Over the net is Bailey.
Johnson, Drake sets it up for Bijou.
Anderson into the net. Point Red Devils 18-9.
So 18-9 in the fourth set, as you mentioned, with Brophy on the serve.
Oh! Brophy just shy.
Yeah,
of
she
getting that
tried
ball.
to come up on that bump, but it just landed just in front of her. So now the point goes back to the Wildcats with the serve. Coquille 18. Glide with 10.
And into the net, point Coquille.
And we'll take that one back. Thank you.
You betcha.
So that's going to put Miss Layton back there. Miss Bristol Layton.
Oh, a high bump. There's Murphy with the set. Anderson gets it back over to Coquille.
There's Layton. Johnson, who's it going to be? Echeverria. Brophy, nice serve. Johnson back. Bijou over. Some great saves by the Wildcats as well.
Yeah, Anderson back over the net.
Johnson, Brophy, who's going to take it? Bijou does, but it's too long. Goes out of play. Nice teamwork by the Red Devils. Just too strong on Bijou's side.
Yeah, had a nice volley going for a bit there.
Drake comes back on the court as Layton has a sit down.
Kara Anderson in the backcourt serving for the Wildcats. There's the serve strong into the backcourt. And a shank off to the left-hand side. Point Wildcats.
Well, Brophy and Drake both went for it, and I think that was just one of those things where they just didn't communicate soon enough.
Sure. Into the net, point Coquille.
Take that one back.
20-12.
So Bijou on the serve.
And the bump. High by Ranger. Miller sends it over.
There's Drake. Johnson. Averett.
Geiger.
Nice dig by Holly. Echeverria with another point.
All right.
That girl has made some points this evening.
Every time she gets on the court. Yeah, she's awesome.
So 21-12. Timeout called by the Lady Wildcats. Here in the fourth set, as Coquille does have a marginable lead, which could possibly set them up for set point here in just a couple.
You betcha.
I know that we've been talking about heading out to Friday Night Lights tomorrow. You can pick up all the action about 6:45, I'd say.
Yeah, we'll go on the air at 6:45 or so.
And if you can make it over, that would be amazing.
Yeah, Friday night under the lights is a lot of fun, you guys, and I'll tell you what, the burgers and dogs are worth a ride.
Man,
We have a whole lot of fun
You
out
talk
here.
about that. I had one of them the hot dogs here and had to put chili and the cheese and the jalapenos.
Yeah, the jalapenos. Holy smokes, that thing looked great,
Let me
man.
tell you what. Ain't nothing got nobody over our booster club. Speaking of our booster club, they're doing an awesome job. It's a new group of folks. And if you'd like to get involved, I'm always looking for volunteers, of course.
Here's a serve to the Wildcats. There's Gomes. And there's the bump back to the Red Devils.
Drake over to Johnson. Averett comes in, but it's going to be out of play as she tried to go cross court.
That's a point for the Wildcats. 21-13, Coquille on top.
But, you know, you're talking about the Booster Club. They are a busy group of people and would always love to have a little extra helping hand. Get a hold of Tony Jones, our AD, and he'll be able to set you up with that. Great save by Johnson. Averett comes over.
And there's Ranger. Miller back to Coquille. Oh,
Holly tried to get that. That's one of those ones that are just over your shoulder. but goes off of her back of her hand pretty much, or the top, I should say, and just rolls back. So it's a point and serve for the Wildcats.
And that'll be Peyton Geiger. Here's the serve.
Into
the net. Yeah, point Coquille. Les Schwab Tire Center wants to remind everyone that winter driving will be upon us soon, and don't forget their free pre-trip safety check. Les Schwab Tires, doing the right thing since 1952.
Little on the serve.
And there's Miller, and a point.
Well, Albert went ahead and got a hand on it to block it at the net, but it went backwards again on her, unfortunately. Yeah, and don't forget, you can get your change at Les Schwab, too.
Yeah, and if you don't use them, you can take them back.
Take them things back. You
get what a deal, man.
100% refund.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fiju to Johnson. Who's it going to be? Averitt comes to the other side.
The bump, there's the set, and that's Ranger. Miller back to Coquille.
Fiju, Johnson, over to Brophy, and a point.
A nice dig in there by Miller and by Geiger. Couldn't get that ball airborne. 23-15, Red Devils as they take the service.
So here comes Drake with the serve.
And Ranger. Weber back to Coquille.
Great dig by Bijou, up by Johnson.
Oh.
Little and Drake just got a little confused there. They were kind of in each other's lane.
Mm-hmm.
Little tried to hit it, but she had to go off the side of her hand to get to it. Good effort, just couldn't quite get to it.
So that takes Breonna Miller to the backcourt, serving for the Wildcats.
Crocheteer's coming back on the court.
And the referee says, let's play ball. Here's the serve.
Crocheteer. Johnson. Layton. Just barely gets it over Brophy. Johnson. And it's a point by Bijou. That makes 24. Now we're looking at game, set, point. With Johnson on the serve.
Here's a serve. And there's Anderson. Ranger with the set. Weber.
Drake. Johnson to the back. Bijou with the hit.
There's Ranger with the set. Weber taps it over the line.
Great job by Layton. There's Holly to pick it up, too. And the ladies get it back as they save it at the net. Brophy put it over. And it's out. That's a win for Coquille.
25-16. Final set. Final match score and the set.
I tell you what. Post-game report brought to you by the city of Coquille. Let's break it on down. 25-20, the first set. Pretty darn evenly played. But then Coquille came back with dominance, 25-15 in the second. The Wildcats came in like they were a whole different ball club, took control of the entire third set, putting the ball placement in very strategic spots to where Coquille couldn't even quite get to it. They took that set 25-17, and then Coquille spun it back around again and dominated the fourth and won that one 25-16.
Outstanding work. You know, we had some aces out there on the court as well. One ace for Brophy, one ace for Little, and two aces for Bijou. Also, Bijou taking it to the hilt tonight with 9 kills.
My gosh, I'm telling you what, Dan. And our player of the game tonight, a young lady that we have seen grow up a little bit, and we'll continue to see that, but playing an excellent game. It seems like just growing and getting better and better and better every single one. Lily, that is you.
Yep.
Echevarria. I want to say congratulations on behalf of Jay Restum, who owns Schroeder Family Funeral Service. Lily Echevarria, she is our athlete of the game. Phenomenal job. Great, great teamwork by the Lady Red Devils as they were able to save so many different hits that was allowing them to actually take the set. And just amazing play by the entire team tonight. Congratulations to them. Folks, we're going to get ready to wrap this up because, well, we're going to kind of get ready for tomorrow night's football game and then also the tournament on Saturday. But we thank you so much for tuning in. Good night, everybody.